Welcome to the Default Profitable Podcast. You're listening to the next episode, and today we're going to talk about what it takes to start, run, and grow a smaller business. We'll be talking some successes, some failures, and some actual stories from a real business owner. I'm your host, Matt Nettleton, and today my guest is Melahni Ake.
Hi, Matt.
Hi. Thanks for being a guest. So why don't we do this? You and I have talked briefly, but why don't you take the first 3 or 4 minutes, introduce yourself and your business to everyone?
So, thanks for asking me. I love this. I do a lot of interviewing. My company is Everyday Leaders. And so when I developed it, it was really out of an idea to connect back into the community. I was in medical device sales and leadership for over 25 years. So I had that corporate, backing. I didn't really have to worry about the paycheck and didn't really have to worry about where I was going to go every day to develop business. I had my target audience. And so that was all around the world. That being said, when I started to transition my thoughts into having my own business, it was, I don't really know my community. I don't really know where the YMCA is. There were so many things that I needed to learn. And so part of it was I really needed to start pouring into learning about people. So I launched my business with a podcast, and it was on leadership back in 2018. So this is the 6th year for it. And it has changed, from audio to now visual, and now we've got a studio sponsor. But the things about the business and how I've designed it and what I do for my clients, how I collaborate with them has completely changed the design of what products I sell, how I serve, and then really where I see the vision going next.
So let's start with, what did you do when you were selling medical, or when you were in the medical device world? Let's start there.
Well, I started in tissue transplant. Ooh, I know everybody's going to say, oh my God, but got into it through marketing, but then became, really a director of the program and did recovery and transplant and worked with surgeons with innovative technologies to design really products that go into your body. So human bone, skin grafts, things like that. And it really got me into a realm of thinking like there are other device companies. So when all that started changing from a nonprofit to a for-profit model, that's when I jumped bail. And I said, I don't really want to do it this way anymore. But I went to work for Cook Medical, which is the largest private medical device manufacturer in the world. And they're right here. I'm in Indiana. So they are in Bloomington, Indiana, 11 different divisions of specialty medical devices. So you think of urology and surgical and endoscopy. So I went to work for that company, and I was in the endoscopy division. And so in Indiana, that is for GI medicine, gastroenterology. That's like the most procedures of anywhere in the entire United States is done here in Indiana. And so that gave me a lot of access to innovative thinkers, right? People that were creating ideas because they saw the most procedures, the most volume. And so they created all the research, and they had all of the companies that they could collaborate with. And it made a lot of sense to me because that's how I think, and I loved it. And it gave me a lot of exposure to really how you get things done the best, right? You really try to create an environment of collaboration instead of trying to, really attack something,
Yeah,
if you will, own. Right?
Yep.
So it really helped me kind of think about the way that I wanted to do things. And I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I never really understood where that was going to lead me. I didn't want to buy a hardware store or have a franchise, but I knew this sense of leadership that I always developed about my own sense of self and my clients and how I took care of customers and built teams. It really just came natural for me.
And so you start the business, I'm assuming calling on big medical device companies, big medical services companies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what did you originally think you were going to deliver to them?
So for me, for my business today, like taking that realm, it was just really coming back and I focused on leadership development. I joined the John Maxwells team, which gave me the real tools to be able to do speaking, training, coaching, and put the things that I knew from a medical science part into more of a leadership investment. How do you grow yourself? How do you grow your teams? And so it's less about the device and now about people. And that's what transitioned. But I think because I had the mindset to take it there, it was, I don't have to do the same thing the same way and then wait till I retire to go find something else to just go try, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what really changed. But building it from, bringing people in and helping them be educated about each other's stories and learning about leadership, that's what helped me connect to the people that said, I know, like, and trust you. Now I want to use your services because I created a community where they could really know, like, and trust me. That's what's happened. And so now I do that for a lot of different groups. But that's really my business comes from referrals. I don't have to do a lot of marketing, although I show up on social media because I want people to know that I'm credible and they can trust me and they know that the things that I'm doing. And now I'm teaching business owners how to do that same thing, right? They tend to stay behind their desk and they're like, oh, well, I'll join the chamber and then the chamber will just send me people.
Yes.
That's not how it works.
Well, but it looks good on paper.
It does. It's nice to have those little things, those stickers on your walls.
Yes.
But, a lot of the CEOs even that I work with will say, well, I have a marketing team that does that. And I'm like, but your marketing team changes. You designed your business. You are the one that has or not, right? But you have to get out there and really tell people about what your heart is, why you do what you do every day. And then the people that will connect to that, I really believe they will organically come to you and you will be able to build your business on true, authentic connections.
So if you look back, I mean, clearly you have a passion for the people and the leadership, and Maxwell's great. I mean, I love his books. So that's all fit. What do you wish you knew when you started? What was it that your corporate career didn't prepare you for when you became a business owner?
Having the right mentors, really, you can have mentors in leadership. You could have mentors in your life to say, hey, you should maybe think about this or do this differently. But I think specifically business owners, SCORE is an organization that helps a lot of business owners that people don't even know about. And they'll help with your business plan and your kind of 5-year goals and really help you be accountable to something as you launch an idea.
And one of the things that people don't talk about SCORE, but I think we need to bring up, is that just because you start doesn't mean they stop talking to you.
Right.
Like you're still allowed to talk to them. So you have people that have 5, 10, 15-year relationships with their SCORE mentor.
Right.
Which SCORE is a great program.
It is a great program. And it's very low cost.
Yes.
So you can get a business coach. And, a lot of people will say, well, I need all these business coaches and I need this. And so the thing is, you can't invest in everything. So you have to figure out the one thing that you do well, and then you have to really try to accelerate that. And I think for a lot of people starting businesses, they'll kind of spray and pray. They're going to join everything and then they're going to show up and they're going to exhaust themselves. And I am all about consistency. So my recommendation for every business owner that I help that is growing from a startup mentality, because that's my target audience, right? A startup mentality mindset is either they're recreating the space, they're rehiring people, they're redesigning their plans because they know that they want to look differently. And those are the people that I love because I've done it a million times over and over and over. And so I tell those people, like, you can do this, but just think the one thing that it is that you do well and do that consistently. If that is social media and you want to show up, do interviews like this on your resources and on the people that you're actually serving. Let them tell your story. Let them tell your story of why they love doing business with you. That builds know, like, and trust faster than anything else, right?
Yeah.
We've all been to it. You go to Walmart, you have a bad experience. If you have a network, there is 700 times the amount of just that one person that then knows that story and has that influence to make a decision.
Right.
So if you can build that network of people just organically, it will help you grow your business just 50,000 times over.
So how long were you in the corporate world?
Over 25 years.
All right. So if somebody from the corporate world comes to you and says, hey, I'm thinking about starting my own thing.
Awesome. Let's go.
What do you tell them the difference is? What do you explain to them? Hey, that's great, but you might want to think about this. Here's what it's like to own your own business.
Well, it's the mindset. It's not reporting to someone else, but if you don't have the desire to do something 40 hours a day and love it, then don't do it. Don't leave
Yeah.
that corporate environment, right? Because it's not just for, I hate my job and I want a different schedule. You're going to work harder than you've ever worked in your life. But if you love it, like they say, you don't ever feel like you're working a day or an hour or a second because you're always doing it. And that doesn't mean you don't get to go on vacation or you don't have time for your family. It just means your mindset is completely different. You are not in the 8 to 5 every 2 weeks, give me that paycheck, 2 week vacation. You have so much freedom, but you have so much responsibility. So you have to, right? You have to really figure out how to collaborate with the right people that can help you kind of eliminate the tasks that you don't like to do. And there's a lot of virtual assistants out there that they can just do one thing a couple of hours a week that takes a huge load off of your plate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, so I think it was Stephanie Daly who was like episode 6 or something way back. And she just said, listen, if you're not comfortable waking up at 3 a.m. and thinking about your business, you probably ought to work for somebody else.
Exactly. You're not going to be a very good boss.
Yeah, as long as you can do that, everything else works out. So, yeah. So you started, did you work with SCORE before you started your business or after you started your business? Or?
After. Yeah, after.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you got together with SCORE. They helped you refine your business plan as you were going. What was there anything else that was an eye opener that you didn't really understand when you started?
I think part of it is because when I was doing this, it was before COVID, and I was still doing a lot of consulting. And so I think that's part of it that I want to always encourage people. Like if you're leaving corporate, you can do a lot of consulting. There's a lot of online companies. And if you research consulting groups, they will pay you for your knowledge. So if you've invested all of your time and energy and you're at a high level, you have knowledge that people will pay you for because there's always these angel investors and companies that are trying to be bought and sold. And so they want to know the value of companies, but they need your knowledge to be able to then leap into that decision making, right? And so if you're thinking about it, like go be a consultant for a while and just see how that goes. And so for me, that's what I did. I was building teams for medical device companies and really experiencing like, hey, I want to play around with this at the same time, still help as a consultant. And that helped me really with the mindset shift of, I don't want to deal with what these other people are dealing with every day. I'm not doing this anymore. And then I just put all the energy, right? So you have all the energy and the shift in your own like desire to have something different. You have to do something different to get something different. And that's what I started putting into place is just, how do I make those connections? How do I get networked with people? How do I collaborate on ideas of things that I may have never thought about before? And so that's really putting yourself in those circles that you're not the smartest one, that you are getting, not just going to networking events, but going to the right strategic networking events, and that's really, really important. And that looks different for everybody, but it's going to resource you to bring in those people that can really support you and grow.
Yeah, that is, and that's probably been the number 3 thing of, first has been everybody's talked about understanding the financial literacy of owning a business. That's been a common one. Second is the business plan, and SCORE has been mentioned by more than half the people that I've interviewed, which is amazing because nobody talks about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Fight Club, except there's no violence. And then number 3 was find people that have already done what you want to do or can help you do what you want to do. And there's an inverse relationship between how successful they are and how much they're willing to help. The people who have really made it, they'll help everybody. The people who are struggling, they're keeping everything secret. And so you have this great opportunity for people that are like, hey, I need help. Great. What do you need?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be somebody that's already fixed the problem that you can't figure out, which is awesome.
Those are the one you want to go to, right? Those are the people that you actually...
It's like, oh, you already figured this out. Who knew? So...
Well, and the other piece of advice that I would give, because I've been writing books and I just released my 7th book here just this week. And I would say for people that, you've been an expert in something and you want to dive your toe into something different or the same, right? You're just kind of doing it on your own. I would really encourage you to write a how-to book. It's super easy. Go on ChatGPT, go on BookBaby, whatever, but sit down and think about 8 questions that you would ask yourself to teach.
Right.
And then design a book, write a how-to book, and then go out and speak about that to companies and resources that you can help, because that will propel your business faster than anything else, becoming that resource expert. And then you will want to help everybody because you're like, well, it's right here in this book. Just buy this. Let me come do a workshop for you.
Yep. Yeah. Which turns into a real business.
It does.
Yeah. All right. So let's do this. So if 2024 Melanie could sit down next to 2018 Melanie the night before you open your business, what's the one thing? What's the primary first thing you would tell Melanie, 2018 Melanie, to focus on?
Everything that I had dreamed of, but do it with more intent, do it with more awareness, do it with the right partners, and do it faster. Fail faster, do it faster, see the vision. I've done everything that I wanted to do. I just delayed because there were some things that I had to learn, So fail faster.
That fail faster is awesome advice. And fail forward, which is obviously
that's right, John Maxwell,
a great Maxwell concept. So yeah, that's, I mean, look, everything that you talked about, it's, and what I love about these interviews, it's 20 minutes or whatever. I mean, they're quick, but they have great themes, and it's all the basics. Like, do it quicker, ask questions, like figure out exactly what you want to do, be explicit, and then just go take the risk and know that it is in fact a risk, and you'll be fine.
Yep. And it'll change, your design will change, your ideas will change, but they'll grow. That's the thing, right? You get to change them and you get to grow into them. And amazing things have happened. I mean, like, we have a partner now, a title sponsor for our podcast and the things that we're doing, and a space for my networking women group every month. And so when you start saying, well, I have to find the place and I got to charge people because they're going to have to pay this, and not always. Like, think outside the box. There are ways that people want to help you because they need help. They need your talents. And so collaborate. It's a win-win for everybody.
And the more you talk about it, the more likely you are to find people to help you.
That's right. The universe loves your ideas. So think out loud, speak it out loud, and it'll happen.
There we go. All right. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up. Before we go, I'm going to remind everybody that, hey, there's going to be show notes, ways to learn more about Melanie and her business, ways to get in touch. You can find that all at defaultprofitable.com. From a podcast standpoint, there's 3 ways you can help us. First, leave a review wherever you listen. Second, hit subscribe wherever you listen. And third, if you hear something interesting, just share the episode with somebody you know. Those 3 things really help. Melanie, thanks for being a guest today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It was really fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And for our listeners, we'll be back next week with the next episode of Default Profitable. Until then, stay focused, keep working, stay profitable.